Hey, sixth grade. So at this point, you should be split screening this video with your own notability notes. This should be in Unit 4, titled Adjectives. And I want you to title this note, Adjectives. So let's start by looking through some of the notability slides some of the Nearpod slides that you are looking for with this one, Adjectives. Oh, that red doesn't show up very nicely. Let me change the color real quick. Here we go, adjectives. An adjective is a name for a word that describes a noun. Nouns are words that name a place, a person, a thing, or an idea. An adjective is a word that gives more information about the noun that goes with it. So here's what I want you to write down. I want you to write down this sentence. An adjective is a name for a word that describes a noun. I then want you to say, it gives more information. Oh, you can't really see that though, can you? It gives more information about the noun that goes with it. But there's something I want you to add. It says a noun. What we're going to add is or a pronoun. You can describe pronouns too. You can say he is fast. And in that case, the adjective describes a pronoun. It gives more information about the noun or pronoun that goes with it. So pause this video and take a moment to write that down in your notes. So you should have something like this in your notes right now. Remember, sixth grade, we should not just be screenshotting this video or typing. The point is that we're writing so that we remember this. So that's what should be in your notes. Pause the video if you need to add something. So here's the next thing we're going to put into our notes. Adjectives will come before a noun or after a linking verb. Now, Sarah, you might say, you just told us they could describe nouns or pronouns. Adjectives are never going to come before pronouns, and I'll give you some examples. They're almost always going to come after linking verbs if they're describing pronouns. So go ahead and pause the video to write this down on your notability notes, and then I'll give you some examples. So hopefully you've taken these notes. Now let's look at this first example. This is an example of an adjective coming before a noun. The athletic girl ran a fast mile. So what we have here is athletic is describing the noun girl. That makes it an adjective. Fast is describing the noun mile. That makes it also an adjective. So there we have adjectives describing nouns. Go ahead and pause the video to write this example down. Okay, hopefully you've written that first example down. Let's look at this next one. In front of the teacher, they are kind. Now we got something kind of kooky going on here with are. That's one of our friends' linking verbs. Remember, it links a noun or a pronoun to more information. That's what linking verbs do. I know it's been a long time since we've done those, but that's what they do. So here we have a pronoun they being linked to an adjective kind. Kind is describing they. That makes it an adjective. Please pause the video and write this example down. But I want you to be careful. Take a moment to look at this example. You are so smart. We have a pronoun, you. We have a linking verb, are. I want to skip so for now. Smart in this sentence is describing you. So it's a word describing a noun or pronoun. That makes it an adjective. But what about so? So is a describing word. Doesn't that make it an adjective? No, it does not. So is actually describing the adjective smart. Adjectives only describe nouns and pronouns. They don't describe adjectives. That makes this an adverb which we're not going to worry about now because we're going to learn them later. But don't get tripped up into thinking that just because it describes, it must be an adjective. Adjectives only describe nouns and pronouns. So now you might ask yourself, well, what exactly are adjectives for? Adjectives are what gives stories color and flavor. They make sentences more precise and interesting. People will understand what you mean much better if you say, it was a beautiful painting instead of it was a painting, right? Also, if you're trying to point someone out, you wouldn't say, oh, the woman in the pants. There's probably a lot of women in pants. But if you said the woman in the cheetah print pants, cheetah print describing pants, now we know who you're talking about. Adjectives can become an important part of your writing, and using them is a great way to help paint the picture you want your reader to see. So here are examples. I went into the dark basement and found my evil brother playing with broken cars. The adjectives really set the scene and set the tone. Let's imagine that instead of saying dark basement, we said bright basement. And instead of evil brother, we said joyful brother. And instead of broken cars, we said colorful cars. Now the sentence reads, I went into the bright basement and found my joyful brother playing with colorful cars. That changes the whole tone of this little story. Adjectives are really important. So here's what I want you to write down. I want you to write down, adjectives are used to make sentences more precise and interesting. Using them is a great way to help paint the picture you want your reader to see. Please write down these two things in the yellow boxes. Pause the video now. This is just to give you some more examples of adjectives. Notice blue describes the noun skies. Fluffy describes the noun clouds. Nice describes man. What's interesting about this one is we have a linking verb, but it's linking he to man, and nice describes man. Same with this one. It and day are linked, but cold is describing day. Good is describing people. So one of the things you were supposed to do yesterday, or rather whenever the last class period was to circle the adjectives in this sentence. Let's go over them really quickly. I want you to pause and think what the answers are. So take a moment to look at the first one. Think what the answer is. Huge is describing the noun tree. Now, if you circled the, that's technically an adjective, but it's called an article. We're going to learn about those later. So for right now, we're going to leave out the. But technically, if you circled it, it is an adjective. Yellow describes chalk. Delicious describes cake. Black describes kitten. White describes kitten. Shy describes girl. Noisy describes the noun classroom. Mean describes trick. Technically, his is working as a possessive adjective. We also learned that as a possessive pronoun. That's technically a kind of adjective, but don't worry about it if you didn't circle it. Old describes horse. Big describes hill. And those are the adjectives you had in that activity. Here are some of the questions you had to answer in that mini quiz. Pause the video, take a moment to read them, and see if you can answer them again. So the answer to one, adjectives are words that are used to describe nouns. That's true. We've been saying that over and over again this video. Let's look at question 2. Words like big and tall are adjectives. Here's a test. Could you say the big tree? What about the tall tree? Yeah, those are words that are describing nouns, so this is also true. The last thing you're going to do is pause the video and answer these in your head very quickly. Okay, she quickly jumped off the bed. Quickly is an adjective. Well, let's take a look. What's it describing? Quickly, it's not saying she is quickly. It's describing how she jumped. But jumped is not a noun, it's a verb. That means quickly cannot be an adjective. This has to be false. Let's look at 4. The boy bought a giant lollipop. Giant is an adjective. So let's ask, well, what is giant? Giant is describing lollipop. Lollipop is a noun. That means yes, this is an adjective. And that's it. Please email me if you have any questions. I know there weren't a ton of notes to take on this lesson, but email me your notes or a screenshot of your notes so I can take a look at them. Thanks.